Alright guys, this is just a quick video showing what I've done with this switch today to get it to work from its original life as a 3-phase switch to be converted to run the VFD as a remote switch instead of a remote pendant type box you would buy for these. I've removed the main linkage points so that this switch is now separated. It's two separate halves rather than running off a main 3-phase power supply that would supply both the spindle motor and the gearbox. Now it's going to be separated to these two VFDs. So yeah, it's up and running. I've managed to get the gearbox motor only turns on when the spindle motor's on, which is the original switch layout. So you can see it's now running in reverse and in forwards. Obviously no motor hooked up at the moment, but you can still tell with the screen from the inverter that it's doing what it should. So that main spindle motor lever will switch the power feed gearbox inverter on either way, up or down, and the smaller lever will tell the power feed which way to go, forwards or reverse. Right then, it's time to start wiring this beast after I've pulled the masking tape off after getting it all sprayed up. I've started by feeding up the main feed cable for the spindle motor, running up through the switch port down from the original coolant controls area, but I've got the new enclosure box to go on. Will fit on here just like that. Obviously just putting it on to show you now, but that's going to house the inverters and possibly a breaker for each one to make sure it's safe. But yeah, let's get on with feeding these wires into where they need to go. So these are both the main power feed cables which will go to each inverter. I'm going to run these through to the original isolator switch. Obviously keep a continuous ground, that's not going to be switched, but positive and negative will be. So I'm going to just pop them through here, try and figure out the length I'm going to need. And then I can trim them down to what I actually need. Just stay there for now. That's going to be a nice length on those cables to reach both the inverters inside the box. I just need to get the box drilled through to run the cables through. So this is now 3-phase power going into the power feed motor. So that's going to be coming out there. So that's pretty much the wiring harness that I've made up, laid out where it needs to be. Obviously I need to get everything pieced together, but it's where it needs to be. These have all been bench tested, so they do exactly what they should do. I'm pretty happy, it's looking good. Paintwork looks nice. It's been a mission and a half, but we're getting there. Starting to piece it back together, slowly but surely. Alright then, now we've got the wires coming from where the inverters are going to be for this power feed motor, all hooked up with an earth lead as well. I'm going to try the gearbox back into its spot, see if it goes back in nicely. Cable plugged in, line the pin up, just have locating pins to where it needs to be. There we go, yeah. Yeah. Going in nice. Now I've got that sat on the body, I'm going to be able to get in and work on the gearbox itself and clear off all the masking, ready for rebuilding, getting all the power feed gears connected back up and slowly but surely getting there. Well, happy with the bolt in there just to make sure it's not going anywhere. Obviously there's two tapered pins top and bottom that locate the gearbox so you can actually get it mounted and let go, but much happier with a bolt in there as well, just so it's not going to get knocked off, because that would be a nightmare. Obviously a little bit tight there, just with the fresh paint in the bore hole, but it's sitting nice. This power feed, it's back on. So I can start taking off the masking. Shouldn't take too much, to be honest. Just pull off. Looking nice. Looking nice, man. Coming back together. It's a slow process, but I'm happy with the results so far. Everything's looking good. Just need to get the wiring finished up. Still got to paint the electrical enclosure so it matches the same myford grey as all the rest of the parts. It'll look shit. It'll look shite. Oh, so that's the power feed, gearbox and motor assembly all mounted in place. Obviously I still need to rebuild the gearbox itself, but that shouldn't take too long. Just piecing the parts back together. I've got to cut a new cork gasket for it, which I think will be the fiddly part, to get all these holes punched out. I've got some centre punches, but hollow punches, sorry, for punching out. They're like leather punches for punching through the cork. But I'll do that in a separate video. But that's looking good, man. Happy with that so far. Alright then guys, now I'm going to be putting in this isolator switch, which is the original switch from the machine, which has a removable fused section here. So for the moment I'm just going to wire it up, but this whole middle section, if you loosen this screw here, the whole plate pulls out, so I can then change the fuses and check that they're all how they should be, check they're not blown or anything, you know, and make sure it's suitable for my needs. So I'm going to just start piecing on these cables. So let's get negative on, positive on, positive on, negative on, and then Make sure you get them on the right side. So that's mains 240 coming in, single cable coming in from the plug, which will then go through the isolator to feed both the inverters. Just get these washers back on and mix these up. With the washer, and then the nut. Lost the washer, put that one back on. Put that nut on. And I'll just be leaving these grounds loose for the moment, as I want to link them together directly onto the body here to link in with the ground feed from the plug. So on this opposite side, I just need to get the positive and negative hooked up, as they're the only ones that I'll be switching. Obviously don't want to switch the ground, need that permanent. Try not to lose the washers. Positive going on there, negative going on there. Again, washer and nut. So like I say, I'm just going to leave those grounds for the moment. Pull them out a bit more. Got a bit more to play with. Right, that's looking promising. Those three can all link together. More. Give them a little twist and then get this terminal on. Obviously not be using heat shrink on the ground, just pointing it's ground into the body so it hasn't got a shield from anything. So that's a nice ground point for the machine, and then that'll go, there's a little hole through the body there, put a new bolt in, and that switch should fit in there with the cable. Oh yeah, that'll fit nicely. Pop it on just to see what it's going to look like. So yeah, I've got on and off, on, off, on, off. Right, let's get that ground hooked up and then it's done. Get that bolt through. Just going to file around where the ground point's going to be connecting, just to make sure that it's getting a good ground, good earth to the body of the machine. Right, I'm happy with that. Paint stripped off it. Okay. Get the ground leads connected up. That little locking nut on there, nylock nut. Make sure it can come off. Tight flats more through there. Now nice and tight. Full machine is now grounded. They fit in there nicely without touching the ground. Great. Now we've got that isolation switch hooked up. Just need to get a plug on the end of that and get the electrical enclosure fitted, and then I can think about getting the inverters hooked up and test the power feed motor again in situ, test the spindle motor once I get all the headstock assembly put back together. take too long, but you know how these things go. Everything takes a little longer than you plan. Now I think this switch panel could be polished up a bit more. You know, it's got a brass trigger there, which would be nice if I got that polished up a bit more, but for now I'm just gonna get it up and running, get it fitted, see everything working, and then I can polish the little bits afterwards. You know, I've done the worst of it, took the paint off it, it's back to bare aluminium, so just a little bit of TLC and we should be looking good. Not that this switch is on show really, but I'll make the effort. So that's the power feed gearbox hooked up, motor and cables connected. We've got the main isolator switch with inbuilt fuses fitted again, all wired up and earthed. I've fitted this enclosure for the moment. I'm in two minds whether to paint it grey to match the machine or whether to just leave it the colour it is. Still haven't decided yet, so I've just got it bolted on for the moment. There's a removable panel that goes inside this enclosure, which is what the inverters will be mounted to. So removing that box to respray it wouldn't be too much of a hassle, but we'll see for the moment. It looks clean as it is, but might look better matching, not sure. Still need to make the decision. So that's all the wires fed through into the new enclosure now, all ready to be hooked up. It's taking shape. Well, I couldn't help myself. I wasn't happy with the colour. It didn't look right, so pulled the enclosure off and I've quickly sprayed it with the myford grey. Just one coat, as it's already been powder coated, but it now matches. Looks so much better, I would have thought, once it's all together.